So how do we know truly that God 100% exists?
We don't. We couldn't. Because it's a claim designed to be entirely unprovable either way. And anybody who tells you they know for 100% sure is either a liar, an idiot, or an idiot liar who doesn't have a clue what they're talking about. Ugh. Well, let's just hope we don't have another Matt Powell on our hands, shall we?
Well, if that's the very question you're asking yourself today...
No, of course that's not the question I'm asking. Mostly because it's dumb. The question I'm asking myself is the same one it's always been. How much whiskey is too much whiskey? Because I tried this whole drinking too much thing, and all that ends up happening is everything is just so much better than it was before. Hey, the only drinking problem I have is running out.
Then stay tuned, because that answer is coming up.
Gotta say, this guy might be the most YouTuber who ever YouTubed on the YouTube. Got the old generic current popular colour scheme, got the multiple angles for no reason, got one of those personality things that I've heard so much about. Oh well, shouldn't complain, still better than the standard what's the lowest possible quality that I can have that I tend to deal with. Seriously, it's like they do that shit on purpose.
Welcome back, it's Messenger, and I decided to make this video because millions around the world are asking this very question.
So I took two things away from that. One, there are millions of people around the world who are less than bright. And two, that even if it were a question that could be answered but somehow hasn't yet been, you are the man to finally make that breakthrough. And that's bold, to say the least. I admire your confidence. Let's hope it doesn't lead down the long, dark path of doing the big stupid.
Question. To believe in the living God, and they want clarification. Well, stop questioning because this video is going to answer your question.
Yeah, stop questioning. He's gonna give you the one and only answer that you'll ever need. And if you question that answer, well, you're just a piece of garbage who hates the living God. On that note, let's just say there is a God. How do you know he does the alive? Because much like my elderly neighbour, I haven't heard from him in forever, and the place I'm supposed to be able to find him is giving off quite the funky odour.
If you do learn in this video, then hit the like button and subscribe because it lets me know that you got the information and you're going to put it in your daily life. So to start off...
Jesus Christofsky, would you stop jump cutting? It's confusing. And that's coming from a guy who gets regular complaints because I interrupt so much. Well, I'm sorry, but if my subjects are going to do 1 million things that bother the crap out of me, then I'm going to make 1 million edits. I call it leaning into the ADHD, so if you don't like it, you're a bastard. Also, I can't figure out if this guy is just super overconfident or extremely bizarrely arrogant.
So to start off, why is this the most asked question? Because they don't see proof.
Sorry, is it the most asked question? Where? When? And by whom's this? Look, mate, I'm not being petty here. Well, okay, I am. But this is the internet. And if you're going to make claims, people are going to point them out and ask why you said that. So maybe be more careful how you put things. I'm sure what you mean is it is one of the, or it is a common question. And those would be fine ways to put it. Just don't be so definite. Keeps you out of trouble. Also, yes, we don't see proof because there isn't any. Oh God, I just realised you are going to tell us some proof that's totally not going to be the easiest to refute shit ever. You know, I always say God damn it in these situations, but he's never damned a single one of these things that I ask him to. Either he's just too lazy, or I suspect he doesn't even reel.
Once they see proof, they'll be like, okay, I witnessed it, I believe him now.
I mean, yeah, it would literally take one piece of proof. Just one, with a few caveats. And they are simple but fair ones, I think. It has to be something that cannot be explained a million other ways. It has to be something I cannot refute with 5 seconds of thought. And it has to be something, and this is probably the most important part, even remotely convincing.
Well, actually, proof is all around us. The world we live in, the air we breathe.
Oh, for f***'s sake, are you kidding me? How long have you been doing this, mate? I can only assume it's like 10 minutes, 'cause Seriously, has no one told you how ridiculously unconvincing the "look around you" argument is? Looking around and breathing? Well, I see and breathe things that can be explained with scientific principles, and none of them begin or end with "God did it."
Scientists have a theory called the Big Bang Theory, that everything that we live in today was created by itself.
Actually, I believe that the Big Bang Theory explains that the universe we live in began with an expansion of time, space, and matter, and doesn't actually go on to say exactly what happened before that. Maybe check into things before regurgitating them onto the internet. Anyway, I prefer the much more plausible explanation for the universe, the Big Band Theory, where the universe started with an expansion of jazz. Nice.
That automatically it had the brains to create everything and have all the resources we need today.
Brains? Brains? What are you talking about? The universe contains no brains. I mean, humans are supposed to have them, but I've seen negative evidence of that, unless you mean that the universe required some sort of thought process in order to, do itself, when that's not how that works. Natural processes don't require a thinking mind to work, they just do.
It had the brains to give us oxygen, but the right amount, because if it was a little up, it would not do us any good. Because a little below, it would not do us any good either. It was just a perfect amount of everything. Everything was in perfect order.
Ugh, really? I think that's the teleological argument? Seriously, the everything look perfect and look design, therefore God. Which has so many flaws, it could be repurposed as a fucking hotel. First off, loads of things in the universe are massively variable from point to point. Humans just happen to be in a pocket of it that just happens to be good enough to not insta-murder the lot of them. And if it wasn't like that, they wouldn't exist, so the concept is entirely academic. It has to be that way, or you wouldn't exist, and thus unable to make that argument. It really doesn't argue for or against God, it's just how it is. So I guess old debunked arguments is what we're doing today. It's going to be my whole Tuesday day, isn't it? I'll have you know, I have a lot of important drinking I could be doing right now. Who am I kidding? I'm doing it anyway.
Waves, they cannot go and flood the entire world. Notice how it goes all the way up and then it goes back down.
Oh my god, did he just... Tide goes in, tide goes out?
Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a miscommunication. You can't explain that.
I mean, seriously, I knew we were doing the debunked arguments bit, but I didn't know we were doing the greatest hits of stupid theistic crap throughout the years. If I didn't know better, I would swear you were doing this on purpose. But you haven't slammed to the floor laughing from the absurdity of it all, so I can only assume you are being completely earnest. Damn.
Gallons and gallons and gallons and so much water, but it's just there and it's not going all the way over here.
Give it a few more years of people ignoring climate change and doing piss all about it, and you will see exactly how changeable the hardline fact of reality as you see it really is. Hell, it's probably too late already. That's why I live on a hill, waiting for that Ponyo shit to happen. It's gonna be awesome. Imagine that, taking a boat down to the shops. That'll be 50 feet above. Shit, I haven't thought this through, have I?
Of how those huge big waves are only in the distance, and when it comes to land, they slow down.
Dude, you know tsunamis exist, right? They didn't just make that term up to describe a thing that doesn't happen. And even without the being that big, there are still massive floods during stormy weather. That's why humans build shit like this along many bits of coastline. Otherwise, they get sunk given a bit of poor weather. Why would they do all that if it's all so perfectly tuned? Unless it's not, and you need to maybe read a bit, or perhaps just go outside.
Of how there's birds everywhere and they never beg for food. That there's always somehow food for every single millionth bird in the entire world.
What the f*** are you talking about? You literally went from waves to birds not begging for food? And you know what bird I associate with waves? These little bastards! The beggingist and stealingest pieces of crap that ever did take to the sky. Dude, I know you're young, but have you actually been anywhere? Have you done anything with your life? Even toddlers go to the beach. I am really struggling to understand how someone can sit here and so confidently make statements about reality while simultaneously apparently being completely ignorant to it. F*** me.
Now, that's no accident. God did that. He provides for them.
No, bad. Bad theist. This is not even remotely reflective of reality. Animals starve to death all the time. Species go extinct due to, in many cases, not having enough to eat all the time. You brought up science earlier, and I don't believe for a second that you have learned a single thing about it, because this level of ignorance is out and out frigging staggering. Like, seriously, dude, where did you get your education? Clown college? Probably not, because then you would at least be entertaining. This is just depressing. And whoever heard of a sad clown?
If there was a minor change in anything, in the number of bugs, animals, oxygen, water, anything, it would make a huge difference in the world today.
You know, this would be a brilliantly subversive way of getting out like an ecological message about how certain people are f***ing up the planet and using religion as a defense for doing so. I mean, I am certain it isn't that, but wouldn't it be clever if it was? Like, seriously, the bugs thing. They're disappearing. That's happening, and it's a problem. But they aren't going away because God. It's a man thing. And they didn't happen in the first place because God either. But you know, clever would be the last thing I would say about this. It would come just after Cheese Whiz.
But somehow it is in perfect order, and that somehow is God.
Says you, the young man so stunningly ignorant of how the world works that he somehow is making points that actively argue against his own position, whilst, as they so often do, smugly asserting their own correctness in the face of being overwhelmingly wrong. As the kids would say, skills.
Now, proof is all around us, but it's the matter of wanting to see the proof.
No, that's wrong. Why does everything you say have to be so wrong? Right, the evidence and it not being shown to someone like me has nothing to do with my interpretation of it. It's about the fact that there are explanations for those things that do not require the supernatural. Many people don't believe in any God, yet would love to believe and to see random shit as proof for a God. But they don't because it isn't.
Rather than being like, okay, show me this God you speak of and change my mind.
So people can only be convinced of God by wanting to be convinced of God and not because anything you can show me would in any way count as evidence for said God. Can you see why one might find that unconvincing? And now I have said convince so many times, I'm not convinced that this sentence will convince you that your convincing is unconvincing. Convinced?
Now, we don't change minds, we change hearts. Big difference.
One is getting someone to believe for a good reason that makes sense and can actually be defended with rational arguments, and the other is f***ing dumb. Because if you think with your heart, you aren't doing it properly. In fact, you can literally replace someone's heart and they are just as capable a humans as they were before. But if you replace their brain, they kinda die. I think one's kinda more important for doing a thinking than the other one is what I'm saying.
You have to have the want to see him. Not just looking for evidence, but realizing that there's more to life than this.
More to life than arguing with people on the internet? I think not, good sir. There is nothing in the world more important than a verbal joust with a worthy foe. Or if one is not available, picking apart the arguments of an idiot. That's not what's happening here, though, or anything. No! What was that about? Like, is this one of them me am the YouTuber things? Why would you do that? I mean, it's not even whiskey. So seriously, what is the point? I drink water like an arsehole? Okay. Good news. Well done.
Real Christians feel God, and the love is overwhelming.
A lesser man would make a crude sexual reference there. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Feeling him and his love, eh? Ha! Sounds hot.
Kind of like how if there's atheists and other religious people or whatever.
Oh, you've got to absolutely love that. That right there is a microcosm of this guy's level of knowledge when it comes to the topics he's attempting to address. In that, he's done no research. He's probably seen like 1 or 2 videos of his senpai boys doing their equally asinine shit and thought, that looks easy, which it is, but with even less experience than those guys. I hope you see my video, mate, and learn some lessons on how not to argue. And maybe I'll see you again, but you know, with slightly less silly. But I'm not holding my breath.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel, Spoon Staff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the